Okay, we are ready. We'll just wait for a minute more, and once people join, we can start. Svetlana, this is available on Mohanji and I YouTube page also. So
Mm-hmm.
in case anyone misses it, they can watch it there.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome everyone. Jai Mohanji. Welcome to those who are watching on Mohanji and I Facebook page and our YouTube page. Both on YouTube and on Facebook, this link will be available. So you can watch it anytime you like to. And it's so beautiful. This Guru Leela reading, I miss it even 1 week when I'm not here. I really miss it, and I hope it's inspiring others too. With all those who are watching, because people have been writing in, and saying that they're enjoying listening to the reading and they feel inspired and they also feel like writing. In fact, I've had a couple of people writing testimonials to us new, for the first time and just being inspired by Guru Leela. So let's spread the word and let everyone get inspired by all of Mohanji's Leelas. And it has come out in books, as most of you know, in 7 parts. And soon, 8th, 9th, 10th will may be available soon in the coming year. And yes, Svetlana, I love that smile. Okay. And so today, what we are going to do is we are going to be reading a beautiful testimonial by Preeti Gopal Ratnam. It's from our book, Guru Leela Book 1. And the reason I chose this, I actually chose something else to read today. But the reason I chose this was this morning I had a conversation with our India country head, and he was talking about the upcoming Prayagraj Kumbh Mela. So there was a beautiful experience that Preeti had at the Kumbh Mela earlier in 2018. So I thought we'll start with that, and time permitting, and if we don't have enough experiences to share, we can go on to another reading also. So welcome Subhashri. Subhashri has also joined us here today. Welcome.
Welcome.
That was nice. Michael
Hi
had a
everyone.
little. uh, welcome,
Thank you
Bhavani.
everyone for joining.
So thank you all for joining in, and we'll start reading so that even if anyone misses, they can always listen to it on Mohanji and I YouTube. Okay. Preeti has titled this very beautifully as An Affair to Remember by Preeti Gopal Ratnam from India. It's been my dream for a very long time to experience the Kumbh Mela in all its glory. But I didn't know I was going to get so lucky when I got to know that I could go there with my guru, Brahmarishi Mohanji. I think I did win the lottery there. I got double lucky as by Guru's grace, my spouse Madhu and I took our two young girls, aged 4 years and 6.5 years too. There are times in your life when you can sit back and say, that's it, I don't want anything more. That was my state when I came back from this beautiful and sacred pilgrimage. We managed to take two dips in the Godavari River on the Mahasnan days, 13th September and 18th September. On 13th September 2015, our entire group met Mohanji at the hotel lobby at 3 a.m. in the morning. The kids not only got up promptly, but got ready and were in a very happy mode, which itself was a miracle. On the way, I got the opportunity to sit in the car Mohanji traveled in. Therein started what I realized later was Mohanji's Leela. Rajesh had done a recce a day before, and he mentioned that we had to park our cars at a car park and walk 2.5 kilometers to reach the ghats. Somewhere in the middle, we lost our way, and Google Maps kept showing us many different routes. The car, for an outsider, would have been comical to watch, with Mohanji sitting at the front, calm and composed, and the three men, Madhu, Rajesh, and Bibi, at the back, desperately trying to get GPS connectivity and hence hanging out of the windows. A short distance behind the car, a group of oblivious devotees in the bus with Tata, the bus driver, an ironic name indeed, followed chanting in bliss with no idea about the confusion in the car. At some point, Mohanji asked the guys, who were by now beginning to panic, to ask for directions at a few places. Before we knew where we were, we got down and realized that we had managed to park 5 minutes away from the actual ghat in some gully. Gully is a lane, which was closed to the public. Imagine our surprise that we didn't have to walk 2.5 kilometers as we had earlier thought, but reached the ghat in 5 minutes and managed to find a spot for our trip at a place which had very few people. So we actually took a relaxed dip during the Brahma Muhurat within the push and tug and the maddening crowd we were expecting, without the push and the tug and the maddening crowd. It was unbelievable to say the least. As Mohanji entered the river for his dip, all of us followed, and the whole place was charged with amazing energy. Joyous devotion and sheer gratitude for what we were experiencing was evident in every face I saw. Once we finished the dips, where each of us had taken dips for our guru and lineage, ancestors, family, and friends, we came out feeling completely fulfilled and took blessings from Mohanji, our Sadguru. He was looking so mesmerizing with the majesty of Lord Shiva, compassion of Sai Baba, and the love of Dattatreya all rolled into one. Mohanji, our Parabrahma, the light of our heart in Nirguna and Saguna state. Simply blissful indeed. As I was standing next to him, I felt a very strong fragrance of vibhuti or sacred ash, Udi, and I commented about it to Mohanji. He had a twinkle in his eyes when he asked me why I was surprised by it. That was when I realized the significance of one's own experience. To read about it in books or to hear about others' experience is good. But when you have your own experience, it instills the deepest faith in you. I also understood the significance of why it is important to write our experiences. The mind keeps questioning and negating and creating doubts all the time, as that is its nature. But when you have your own experience and record it somewhere, then it's not very easy to shake your faith. Deepest gratitude to my Guru Sri Sadguru Mohanji Maharaj for his grace and love. Deepest gratitude to everything and everyone who helped us make it to the Kumbh Mela in Nashik. Another amazing experience I would like to share is the visit to Ganesh Puri on our way back from Nashik. Mohanji said he would like to spend some time with Vasudevan Swami, a highly evolved saint at the Nath Mandir in Vajreshwari. He asked us to visit and take darshan at Bade Baba's, who is Nityananda Bhagwan, Samadhi, and meet him back at Vasudevan Swami's place. It did cross my mind why he did not want to come to the Samadhi Mandir after coming all the way to Ganeshpuri. We dropped Mohanji at Vasudevan Swami's Nath Mandir, opposite Vajreshwari temple, and went to Bade Baba's shrine. As our group had a couple of first-timers, we went to Kailash Bhavan first to show them the place where Bade Baba used to live. We sat opposite his chair and meditated for some time. The place was as powerful and full of energy as it always is. Numerous devotees have felt and seen Bade Baba in and around Kailash Bhavan even to this date. I've had the grace and good fortune of having its darshan too on one such visit. There is a room opposite the bathtub which is sometimes open to visitors. This was where Bade Baba used to sleep. The last couple of times the room was open and we got in and meditated there for some time. I tried to open the door to enter the room, but it was locked. I put my head near the door and peeped in and thanked Bade Baba for this darshan when I felt a very strong fragrance of vibhuti once again coming from inside. I instinctively recognized it as Mohanji's fragrance, the same one I felt at the dip. As I kept my head there, I also got a strong smell of sandalwood, and after a while, I could smell multiple fragrances coming from the room. Madhu, Nikunj, Arusha, and Vidya each put their head there, smelt the fragrances, and their foreheads began to pulsate as the energy inside was very high. Every single one of us was amazed. At that moment, we knew Mohanji was inside with Bade Baba, and I felt that a couple of other masters were there too. We then went to the Samadhi Mandir right in time for Arati, and needless to say, the darshan was magical. We left after the Aarti without waiting for the prasad, as the others in the group would be waiting for us at the Nath Mandir. When we arrived, I saw Mohanji and asked him what he was doing at Kailash Bhavan, to which he replied with the same twinkle in his eyes that he did not have to be physically present at Ganesh Puri to take darshan of Bade Baba. He also confirmed there were a few of them there in the room. It was an amazing moment for me as a reconfirmation of how one's own experience cuts out the doubts set forth by the mind. By the end of our trip, I understood that what we see physically is a minuscule part of Mohanji's stature and presence. I remember what he told me when I met him at the Mumbai Center. Try to understand me, then you will never leave. My single prayer to him is to help me understand him, as I would never want to leave him ever. And I pray it always remains that way. To summarize, I would like to share this beautiful write-up on the Guru Tattva by Swami Shivananda. The disciple's self-surrender to Guru and Guru's grace is interrelated. Surrender draws down Guru's grace, and grace of the Guru makes the surrender complete. Guru's grace works in the form of sadhana in the aspirant. If an aspirant sticks to the path tenaciously, this is the grace of the Guru. If he resists when temptation assails him, this is the grace of the Guru. If people receive him with love and reverence, this is the grace of the Guru. If he gets all bodily wants, this is the grace of the Guru. If he gets encouragement and strength when he is in despair and despondency, this is the grace of the Guru. If he gets over the body consciousness and rests in his own Ananda Swarupa, this is the grace of the Guru. Feel his grace at every step and be sincere and truthful to him. Bless me, Mohanji, that I feel your grace at every step and remain sincere and truthful to what you stand for. Jai Mohanji. So, this was one fabulous story about the Kumbh Mela at Nashik. In fact, Preeti and Madhu have had various other experiences in other Kumbh Melas. We can read it another time. So, I think this could be an inspiration to those of you who have not yet decided whether you're going to be here in Jan and Feb for the Prayagraj Mahakumbh Mela, which is going to happen from Jan 13th to up to Feb 24th, I think Mohanji's birthday. Mohanji is going to be there also. Yeah. So what do you think? What about the grace of the Guru? What do you feel about this? Yes, Michael has a big smile.
Well, I think overwhelmed, excited. Oh my God. Oh my Mohanji. I don't know where do you actually start with this? It's just, from parking about half a yard away from where you're supposed to be, because Mohanji just happened to say, perhaps we better check Google Maps or something of that nature. I don't know. He's just playing with people, isn't he, sometimes? Because he knows everything. So, but he's doing it. He's also doing it for a reason, which is, of course, to ensure that the faith that people have, both in the tradition, but more importantly in themselves and what actually exists within them, is just reinforced. And so that's why I think these experiences, as you said, was said in the testimonial, are actually necessary, because it's a very then personal experience, as opposed to reading the experience of another, which is always valuable, as was pointed out, and it really is. But when it's your own experience, it's difficult for the mind to deny that, where the mind's, it's just a story or something like that. Somebody else has written it. So yeah, absolutely wonderful.
It's
Yeah, and
it's
I put in a request as well that for all of us listening to this, that we have our own experiences.
Yeah.
we all have our own stories too. It is just that, I always remember what Mohanji says. Mohanji says, if you have the eyes, you will see. So, it is earlier I remember when I was new, Subhashri is here, I can share that. Subhashri used to be able to connect those dots very nicely. I would just tell her randomly, Subhashri, this happened or that happened, and she would connect the dots. She said, wow, this has happened. See the pattern that's flowing, even in her own life experience. So I think if we have the eyes to see, we definitely will be able to see the miracles that are happening in our lives and in the smallest way possible. In fact, today I don't know why I changed the story from another one because I felt I just needed it. There was an element of doubt which had come into my mind this morning. Not this morning, sorry, it was yesterday. It happened yesterday, and I was like not feeling very comfortable about it. And you know that we are going through this, this month of no complaints, no blaming phase. Yes. And I wanted to, I'm following that very diligently. And so I immediately nipped it in the bud. And I did wonder as to why this doubt came up. I didn't want to get too much into the analytical aspect of it. And then last evening, we had another meeting with Mohanji where he said, don't get into this analytical mode of what's happening. So, and then today when I read Preeti's testimonial about how beautifully, when the faith develops, just connecting with Mohanji, just seeing him, and that was a very beautiful sentence she had mentioned. I read it out to you. Because the mind keeps questioning each time when we listen to others' experiences. So when we experience it ourselves, it's not the same. So that somehow, it clicked. I said, okay, Mohanji kind of showed me what was expected at that point. Yeah, so Bishi, would you like to say something?
I'm sitting in a bit crowded, noisy place. Sorry, Rekhaji, which one did you say specifically?
No, I was talking about you connecting the dots and seeing Mohanji's.
Oh yeah, it's actually I would say it's a grace that when we can actually realize the grace that is happening to us, so most of the time it's always there, it's always happening, just like air, but we can't see air, right? But the moment you are aware, or also spine, let's talk about in our practice, we always say, be aware of spine. Spine is always there. Breathing is always there, but we are not, aware of this. The moment we take our attention, we feel the spine, we feel the breath. Like that, grace is always there. The moment, like as Mohanji says always, the simplest but the most powerful thing is connection. The moment you connect, you don't really need to do anything. The connection is there just even by thought, by remembering. And as you, it's always there. The grace is always there. As long as the connection is there, grace flows. But are we aware of that? We don't even see
Exactly.
many times. And so I think it's a that itself is a grace, that when we can realize, okay, this has happened and this is where the grace is. And I guess as I keep doing that, this is obviously happening for many years, that I keep noticing, oh, this is how Mohanji, this happened. And it's so beautiful to even just recount that. And whenever we discuss with each other, it becomes even more clear. And then you can see, as you rightly said, joining the dots, it becomes so clear. And then, gratitude flows. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the sentence that Preeti has written is, try to understand me, then you will never leave me. It's just that being with Mohanji, knowing that he is doing the best for you, and just, saying, okay, Mohanji, here I am with you. That's it, no questioning. It makes a world of a difference. I have experienced it many times, Subhashi knows that. Many times I've experienced it, and it is something amazing. So if any of you would like to share such an incident, please come forward and do it. Chetlana, would you unmuted? Would you like to say something?
I was unmuted from the beginning, but
Oh, sorry.
It's yeah, but it's not that I wanted to say. I just stayed unmuted. But yesterday, for example, we had a meeting in Pula. I'm from Croatia, with volunteers and with Mohanji family members and new people. And we smiled and laughed a lot and sharing how we met Mohanji. And then we said, like, as a joke, sometimes you think, oh, this is his grace, or did he set us up, like put us in a difficult situation, so to find our way back home, not to ever put like to forget about him. So there are people who are with him from the 2015 and new people, and it was really, really wonderful to hear the how they came to Mohanji. So it's really, really a grace. For example, one boy, he is now older. He found a book when he was 16, of Maheshwari, and then we met at one group, and that group led him today to Mohanji group. So it is amazing. I mean, when you talked about the scent, sometimes when I like smell my cat, they don't have like cat smell. They really smell nicely, like a perfume. And there were times when I smell them and I like, oh, this is how Mohanji smells. And then I was like, no way. But then I smelled again. So this is all his grace, yes. His Leelas.
How cute that is. How cute that is.
Yeah.
You know, that shows you're constantly being in connection, like Subhashri said, being connected with him constantly. You can smell
Yeah.
him, you can feel him, he's so tangible at times, you know. Sometimes you feel he's there in front of you, larger than life, and
Yeah.
you can just speak to him, you know. That's how I feel many times.
Yes.
And the
So
smell of the Udi or the sacred ash happens very often. I've noticed that many people have mentioned it, although Mohanji has got various another sandalwood fragrance also, but the smell of Udi, many people have shared.
yeah, and it really is great to be a witness of all that. And for example, what helps me is whatever I do, like I do for him. And for example, when I'm singing in the car, if it's a love song, I sing to him, because sometimes the song can like really bring us down and to bring back old memories. And I found out that the trick is to always sing to him, and it's like he washes away all that sorrow or imprints that were in our body. So that is really, really nice practice. If you sing and you remember your ex or someone from the past, you just think of Mohanji and immediately like he's washing all that away. Sometimes not at once, but yes. And what I also notice is when you have like a little, how to say, rupe, how to say, um, like holes. For example, some things are determined in our lives, but if there is a hole and you can go up in a better way, grace, or you can go in another way, which is not so good for you, he will definitely move you to go in the higher consciousness activities or experiences. So that is also his grace. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm sure many of you, when you said you sing and to Mohanji and all that, similarly, people have also spoken. I've heard many people saying as they're driving and they are in some kind of a uh, situation where they're not feeling good, and then there's this particular song plays on the radio, and it is an answer. It clearly, distinctly feels like an answer from Mohanji himself because of the words in it. You know, these kind of experiences many people have
Yes.
had. And
Similar.
yeah,
And also once I was driving, I was so tired. I was going to visit the doctor, like it's in, I think, 400 kilometers from my home. And I went to sleep for a second. And I heard like I crashed. Then I opened my eyes and just moved the wheel.
Steering.
Yes, he saved me. He woke me up before the crash happened.
Oh
Yes.
gosh. Total grace, sheer grace.
Yes. It's all his grace.
Thank you, Svetlana, for that share. And Bhavani has written that she is in a car traveling with others and unable to speak. So she just shares, I would like to share that without Mohanji, I won't be here. I won't be able to pass through each challenges and situations without his grace and protection. Jai Mohanji. Thank you, Bhavani, even though you're traveling and you've joined in and also sharing your own small information or your experience about Mohanji. Thank you
And that
so
was
much.
as well, that was our conclusion yesterday when we parted in Pula. That was our
Okay.
conclusion. Yes.
Okay. Yes. And let's see, the Guru finds you, right? He finds you.
Yes.
And once you're there, it's up to us to hold on and not let go. Okay, so shall we read another story also? This is completely different. And this is something very close to my heart also. It is about the Shiva Kavacham. Most of you must have heard about the Shiva Kavacham, which we all listen to in Mohanji's voice. And this is an article blog by Rajesh Kamath called Miraculous Shiva Kavacham Stotra. Okay, so I'll read the second story also today, and we can wind up after that. The unwavering consciousness of a realized master is the veritable engine that affects the spiritual transformation of the people who come into contact with him, thus taking them towards the ultimate goal of liberation. This consciousness, unruffled stillness like still water or a perfect mirror, reflects the true nature of the seeker who comes in contact with the Guru. Some are frightened to see their own true form and run away. They are usually blinded by the material world. They are not aware of how bound they are. Some accept it and decide to walk towards the ultimate goal of personal liberation. The connection of the individual to this consciousness depends on his or her degree of awareness, faith, and surrender. Bhav, which is the devotion or attitude of gratitude with reverence, is the essential ingredient, which is a gift of the Master's grace made eligible through perseverance and persistence of the individual. The Master provides several methods that help in deepening the connection. His words, written or spoken, spiritual methods and techniques, energy transfer, and in some cases, spiritual experiences. However, a realized master's operating level is not restricted to the physical plane. The work that the master does in other subtle dimensions is far more transformative and yet not always perceptible and tangible to the individual. Out of deep compassion and love, the pure grace from the master uplifts the individual and moves him closer to liberation. Here is a brief overview and background on the Shiva Kavacham Stotram. The Shiva Kavacham Stotram, recited by Mohanji, is a very powerful experience for every listener. Mohanji has repeatedly said there is nothing beyond it. It is for merging with the formless brightness aspect of Shiva, the manifested and unmanifested united. Mohanji has set the basic criteria as bow and surrender with deep devotion towards Lord Shiva, Lord Dattatreya, and his numerous avatars, Hanumanji, Sai Baba, or Mohanji, for sharing this unique gift with people. Hence, maintaining the sanctity of the Kavacham is of paramount importance. This behoves the recipients to ensure that they use this gift with the sacredness and reverence that it deserves, and that they exercise deep discrimination in sharing it with only those people who would value and respect it. Mohanji insists that it must be kept and used with utmost reverence and sacredness. The person who has received it can share it with someone as long as the following conditions are met. 1. The person requesting it must have deep vow, devotion, and connection. through Mohanji, Lord Shiva, Lord Hanuman, Sai Baba, Lord Datta, etc. 2. The person requesting it must be properly informed to treat the gift with respect and reverence. The kavacham must be listened to consciously like meditation, with 100% concentration and a lot of power. It cannot be treated as background music. For those conducting POP sessions, power purity, Mohanji has allowed it to be played after our meditations as a continuation of gratitude, where all participants should maintain silence and deep reverence. Without further ado, we move on to the experiences that people have had with the kavacham, emphasizing the sacredness of the kavacham. We hope that people understand the importance of the Shiva kavacham from these experiences and use it in a proper manner to derive supreme benefit from this sacred gift. Devi Mohan from Serbia shared this beautiful experience from the UK retreat in July 2015. I'll never forget a lovely little wooden hut called Gidney Cabin in Gilwell Park near London, in which our retreat group recently experienced a true explosion of energy and grace. Shiva Kavacham after Shaktipat, the energy transfer, followed by Sai Arati, while in Mohanji's expanded presence, created the ground for a takeoff into a most blissful inner state. Body as it turned into a stone statue, mind in perfect stillness, consciousness expanded as if pulled upward. I suddenly got immersed into the purest, vibrant love. No words can describe the magnificence of such a state. For a second, the eyes of Shirdi Sai Baba appeared in my inner vision, and then tears, warm tears of eternal gratitude, was all that moved over my otherwise frozen body. While the Shirdi Aarti was on, I made a feeble attempt to get back into the body and get up to join Mohanji, but the body would not move, not even one finger. And deep inside, I did not want to leave this blissful state, for nothing that one can experience in the physical world can ever come close to it. It is more than an hour or so later that I could slowly come out. Strong sensations in the heart chakra followed, tears of gratitude that soon turned into loud sobbing for no reason known to the mind, continuous shivers and waves of great awe and gratitude. The golden colors of this image will always warm my heart. The grace of Sai and Mohanji that transcends all the boundaries of human existence. Deepest pranams for eternity, Devi. Yogan from the UK relates his profound experience of the Shiva Kavacham during the same retreat. After the power of purity meditation in the Gidney cabin, the Shiva Kavacham was played in Mohanji's presence. I could see the energy of Shiva flowing through Mohanji, but nothing could have prepared me for what followed. My entire physical and energy bodies were filled with pure golden yellow light. I could feel the billions of cells in the body starting to separate, and each one being cleansed by this light. Each cell was releasing accumulated stuff and memories of pain. I saw many, many souls of my ancestral lineage and from previous lives appearing, acknowledging, clearing, and healing our previous relationships. Mohanji appeared in his light form, comparable to the old negative film roles with the outline of his face and hair filled with immense golden light. Pure love enveloped my entire being, and I was being bathed in the arms of the Creator, the pure consciousness that sustains entire universes. I wanted to merge and to be in the absolute void of stillness, but circumstances and time meant this was not possible yet. My sincere gratitude to Mohanji for creating and holding the space of immense energy and for the cleansing at all levels. Palak Mehta from Pune, India shared her experience with the Shiva Kavacham. Huge blocks got removed into the Shiva Kavacham. I just get completely stable. Sometimes I can't meditate, but the Shiva Kavacham changes the energy of the whole environment. Many times when I need to concentrate, I can focus easily after listening to it. Shiva Kavacham is our true nature. Shiva Kavacham in Mohanji's voice is alive. It takes you beyond the mind. Mohanji's voice is the vibration of the universe itself. It fills you up with the same vibrations by removing all the clutter and takes you back to your original state, pure light. This makes me realize how vulnerable we are to this tool called the mind. Once it is silent, everything is perfect. One of the devotees, Anita, mentioned that she was listening to the Shiva Kavacham after taking a bath. She could feel all the glass panes on the windows in the room shaking and vibrating. This happened for as long as the Kavacham was played, and it subsided thereafter. The volume was moderate, and it was obviously not because of the volume that the window panes vibrated. Mohanji had resided and recorded the Shiva Kavacham Stotram in a studio in Kerala in between trips to the passport office in a hurry. There was no way he could concentrate because of busy schedules, incoming calls, and a press interview. Yet, he did it within the limited time in one go. One of his followers, Mr. Srijit, had facilitated the arrangements to do the recording. Unfortunately, he did not manage to get a copy. He requested a local devotee of Mohanji in Palakkad for a copy. He promptly transferred it to the phone of Srijit. On a later day, when he was traveling with his family, his wife requested him to play it in the car via Bluetooth. Realizing the sacredness of the Kavacham and remembering Mohanji's instructions, he initially declined, saying that it was not supposed to be played casually in the car. However, his wife and family insisted, and he finally gave in and proceeded to play it on his mobile phone. To his surprise, after completion of the chant, the mobile phone went dead. He tried various methods, but it refused to start. Once he reached home, he went to a service center to get it repaired. They tried their best with it for several days, but they could neither repair it nor diagnose what was wrong with it. They finally gave up and said nothing could be done with it. Not taking their word, he went to 2 other service centers to get a second opinion and a third opinion, but the same drama played out. They just couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. After being repeatedly told that the mobile was as good as dead, he finally gave up on it and handed it to his 2-year-old daughter to play with. His daughter is deeply connected with Mohanji. While playing with it, she started gesturing to him, pointing at the screen of the mobile phone saying, "Baba, Baba." He was deeply shocked to see that the mobile phone had started all of a sudden and there was a picture of Mohanji on the screen. The child was calling Mohanji Baba, even though they tried to coax her to call him Mohanji. He told the local devotee who had given him the copy that he had received a precious gift but had not treated it as such. Hence, this entire episode was a reminder for him to treat it with the respect that it deserved. I would like to share 2 experiences that I had with the Shiva Kavacham. When I received the Kavacham, I instantly felt the powerful effects of it as I listened with deep concentration in the presence of Mohanji. Later on, I had a misguided brainwave that if listening to the Shiva Kavacham was so powerful, I could significantly amplify its effects by letting it play all night while I was sleeping. Mohanji had specifically said to listen to it only 2 or 3 times a day. And when I did this for the second night in a row, I woke up in the middle of the night and observed that the ceiling was covered with a white mist. In the center of the ceiling, I saw a bald head with 2 huge eyes staring back at me. Under normal circumstances, that would have scared the bejesus out of me. I have always been scared of ghosts and the bodiless entities. I was surprised that this sight just made me curious, and I was not scared at all. Then the thought of Mohanji immediately occurred to me. At the thought of Mohanji in reverence, as if on cue, the vision instantly disappeared and the ceiling returned back to looking normal. Subsequently, I related this experience to Mohanji. He told me that the entity was one of the Shiva Ganas, army of Shiva who got attracted with the constant rendition of the mantra of Shiva. Mohanji reproached me for treating the Shiva Kavacham Stotram so casually. He said that this inadvertent act of playing it continuously for so long created a powerful energy field that attracted the Shiva Ganas to the energy of Shiva. Since Shiva is the sum total of all the energies in the universe, the Shiva Ganas come in all varieties, benign as well as evil. It was Mohanji's protection that prevented any unintended consequences. Just by a sincere thought, Mohanji appears to protect. I did not even chant his mantras to invoke his protection. Also, Mohanji has categorically mentioned that the Shiva Kavacham Stotram should not be heard more than 2 to 3 times in a day, and that too with deep concentration and reverence. The energies generated via this practice could be so high that our normal constitution may not be able to handle it and could possibly result in serious imbalances. This was not enough of a lesson for me, and I finally learnt it only after I had another misguided experience. While I was traveling, I decided to take some time off to do my consciousness Kriya practice. I went into the room and locked the door so that I could not be disturbed. My fertile mind cooked up another brainwave of increasing the efficacy of consciousness Kriya by listening to the Kavacham while doing it. Sometime into the practice, the door started opening with a loud creaking sound and stopped. I was surprised since I knew I had locked the door, but decided against opening my eyes, thinking that the latch may have been loose. As if in response, the door started creaking again, even louder. I immediately opened my eyes, but could not see anything amiss. After I finished my Kriya practice, I checked the latch and saw that there was no issue with it. I recollected that I had in fact properly closed the door since I had checked it before starting the practice. When I related this experience to Mohanji, he told me, I came there to kick your butt. This time, Mohanji firmly told me not to treat the Kavacham casually and to cease all experimentations immediately. Mohanji considers consciousness Kriya extremely sacred and he insists not to mix anything with Kriya. This time around, I got the message loud and clear. In closing, I hope that the experiences will inculcate a great sense of gratitude in the readers for any gifts that are received through the grace of a master. Induce them to treat the gifts with utmost respect and reverence and drive them to actively use the gifts consciously, consistently, persistently, and with complete awareness to further their spiritual growth. Jai Mohanji. I think both the stories were related, right? Two very different stories, and they were both connected. Isn't it? Wow, that was really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Oh dear. I mean, the Shiva Kavacham. I have to say, when I listen to it, which I do every day, if I listen to it last thing at night, just before I go to sleep, I find it really difficult to go to sleep because my energy is so high from listening to it. It's really quite challenging then to actually sleep. But I've had an interesting experience this week, which I'll probably write about for Subhashri in the sheet that she's just said around Mohanji's birthday. But it's not been an easy week, that's for sure, in terms of adverse forces. Let me put it that way, which I have a degree of familiarity with, so I know what's going on. But on Thursday, out of the blue, I received a WhatsApp message from Anusha, who has never messaged me before. And what she sends to me is a chant sung by Mohanji, which is the Mahasadashana mantra.
Mahasadashana mantra, yes.
Yeah, apology for the pronunciation, which I didn't have. But out of the blue, she said, well, I've got it here. I was listening to this mantra and I felt I should share this mantra chanted by Mohanji with you. And that's basically what she said. So obviously she picked up on the fact that I was having a pretty interesting week. Let me put it that way. So I've been playing that as well as the Shiva Kavatram. And the energy is lifted. But I was out in the garden yesterday putting some food out for the birds. And of course, when you're at the bird feeder putting food out, there are no birds around. But then out the corner of my eye, my left eye, my peripheral vision, I saw something speeding towards me. My first thought was, boy, that's hungry. And then my second thought is, it's going to hit me. And then at the last minute, it turned literally on a sixpence. It was a male sparrowhawk, and it flew right in front of my eyes. I could see all of its detail. So it came in from the left, flew right in front of my eyes. I was looking at the feathers like this, thinking, oh my goodness. And then it flew off out of the garden to the right. So I knew that was significant. I knew it's some sort of sign. So I WhatsApped Anusha back and said, thank you ever so much for sending the mantra. It's been really helpful. And today this has happened. And when I looked up about hawks and sparrowhawks, what it means, it's basically a symbol of spiritual protection and guidance. So, but in a really physical form. It was literally a foot away from my eyes. The turn was amazing. Because at one point I thought, it's going to hit me. It's going to strike me. It's coming that way. But there were no birds in the garden. That's the surprising thing, you see, because all the birds were away because I was putting food up on a bird feeder. They're not going to be there apart from the friendly blackbird that happens to hang around. It just came in so quickly. It was stunning. And I think that's just the power of the protection that Mohanji ensures that you have. So I had the mantra sent to me. Anusha's never contacted me before, ever, directly. I've obviously messaged in groups, but she just sent me that out the blue. And it turned out to be a bit of a Mohanji send, or God send, I would say. So, yeah, it's a very powerful mantra. And obviously the Shiva Kavatram is very, well, it says in the testimonial, it's the highest. But, and I do listen to that on a daily basis. But this additional mantra seemed to do the trick.
Yeah, because the kavacham, actually, the meaning of the word kavacham itself means a shield or a protection. So
Right.
we do have the Devi kavacham, we have the Shiva kavacham, and the Mahasudarshana mantra is equally a very, very powerful mantra. And listening to it, I remember Mohanji had, shared it with us just when the pandemic started, COVID. And at that time, we were all chanting it regularly for people. That was the first, initial days when we were all going online to chant, together as a group to help each other out. And that was when Mohanji had given us the Sudarshana mantra also. It's a very, very powerful mantra. Another one very close to my heart, because here down south, we do have temples where we have the Sudarshana chakra. Chakra is a wheel. The Sudarshana chakra is actually one of the weapons that's held by Lord Vishnu. The wheel, the spinning wheel that he has in his hand. So, yeah, it's a very, very powerful mantra. And look, the first reaction was, it's going to hit you, and then. So
Anusha, Anusha sent me a WhatsApp message yesterday back. She said, there are no coincidences, Michael.
Sorry?
She said, there are no coincidences, Michael.
Absolutely.
This is what she said to me. And she said, this mantra itself is a protection from Mahavishnu. As it says, he uses the Sudarshana chakra to offer protection against all forces, according to Hindu mythology. This mantra is about that protection. That too is in Mohanji's voice. Now the physical appearance of a hawk is an assurance that you're well protected and guided. As Subhashri says, when you are involved in a significant spiritual mission, negative forces do try to come to slow down, but protection comes from tradition in many different forms as well. So that's what Anusha sent back to me yesterday.
Beautiful that is. It's a lovely sharing. Because, protection comes in various forms, and nothing is a coincidence. Definitely not. Definitely not.
No, well, a hawk, it circled me, which is what surprised me. And there were no birds around, so why did it come in? It's just stunning, anyway.
It's yeah. Sometimes
There you
there
go.
are
Thank
no
you very much.
reasons, and absolutely. Like, see, I'm sure
Yeah,
today many people or many of us who are listening to the testimonials would have something that they needed from this,
yeah,
something we carry back with us when we wind up. Because, like for me, I felt I had to read these two today. Shivakavacham, yes, I know. Always reading Preeti's testimonial was very, very needed for me.
mm,
It was then the simplest thing. It may not be something very big, but then I needed it today. So it's like that for each of us. So nothing is a coincidence. Ah, so thank you all so much. Any other sharing? Anybody would like to share, or we can wind up for today? Hi, Seema.
Hi, Rekhadi. I have an experience to share.
Please do.
This was about a month back, or rather in October. Mohanji was in Dubai, so we had an opportunity to be around him, and just listening to, and there were a lot of people who had visits with him, and it was like a satsang every day. Just being around him and listening to him. So as part of that, as an offering from the UAE team, we offered something, and I took the tray, and then he just patted my left hand, and he said, "Oh, what is this? What is this for?" I said, "No, it's just a small offering, from the group. Whatever we could do, we did." And he accepted it, and very gracefully, he just gave us tips on what we should do in the region and like that. Then Padmini ji was next to me, and she immediately noticed that Mohanji's hand, the left hand, is hurting him. So she asked Mohanji, what happened to your left hand? And he said, no, no, it's okay. And you know how he always does that. So, he just says, no, no, nothing, he just shrug it off. And later in a month's time, less than a month's time, I had a fall, and the very left hand which he had touched, it was in serious pain. In fact, I'm going through the physiotherapy for it. So it was very bad, and I when that fall happened, the first thing that came into my mind was Mohanji. So it was complete surrender, and since I am a practitioner, I did a little bit of Maitri on myself, although it was not so effective because I was focused on the pain more than the healing aspect of it. So somewhere I felt I was protected. And then, suddenly all these thoughts came to me, and I realized how he had blessed me by touching me that day, my left arm, just casually. And, I think he eased it out for me. It was not such a major thing. It could have been really big because the fall was big. So, so I feel truly, truly blessed. The small actions also, only in the hindsight, you realize how much he does for you. So I'm really, really thankful. I wanted to share this with you all here.
That's beautiful, Seema, because see, again, you were able to connect the dots, and you otherwise, we could have just taken it as a casual tap on the left hand, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
the very fact that, he had kind of thwarted something major happening in your life and also protected you just with that
Yes,
simple tap, it's beautiful. Thank you
yes,
so
yes.
much for
I'm getting
sharing.
goosebumps as I'm explaining it to you. But yeah, I really feel the grace of him, and I'm not able to come out of it of what he did to me. Like it could have been really, really big. But what he did by just that little tap on my left hand, and I don't know what more he has done and how much he has absorbed, what I don't know how to put it across. But yes, it has come down to just a muscle tear or whatever. It could have been big, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I totally understand
So,
that. Because it's happened to me. I've shared it before also here in this
yeah,
group. And, there are many incidents which are so funny also sometimes. I think slowly in each one of our weekend sessions, we can share more. I just
yeah.
remembered one about Vada Pav in Mumbai. It's a very hilarious incident. I've been wanting to write about it. Anyway, another day I can share that. So little things, but these are all major injuries which he has kind of removed. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened to many of us. Some of us would have recognized it, some may not have recognized it, but your sharing now would help him recognize it.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. And I'm very diligently and week on week, I listen in to this. And this is my walking sadhana. Like when I go for my walk, this is a 1 hour
Ah,
walk when I listen to. And if I have missed something during the talk because of some thoughts, then I go back to re-listen to it to not miss a single aspect of it. So I'm really thankful to you and Subhashri for conducting this regularly, week on week, without a miss. I'm really, really thankful to this.
Thank you, Seema. It's our Father's grace, and that's how it's happening. In fact, even yesterday, he spoke about it. He spoke about Guru Leela reading and how important Guru Veda reading is, because people are liking it and people are getting inspired by it. So yeah, I think we should continue, and many of you can come forward to read it also, so that we continue this for some time. And I
Thank
hope
you.
more
Thank
and
you
more
so
will
much.
more and more testimonials are there, which we can share with everyone. So because some
Yes,
people
yes.
like to listen, some people like to read, so it caters to all kinds of,
Yes.
all kinds of people.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. Unless anyone else has anything to share, otherwise we can wind up for today. Yeah. All right. So I'll see you all next weekend. Next weekend is Datta Jayanti, and so we'll meet next weekend. Okay. Till then, have a great week ahead. A lovely Sunday too. Jai Mohanji.
Thank
you.
you.
very
Hey,
Jai Mohanji.
Mohanji. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Bye.
Rekha.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Lots of love. Bye.